What's up, everybody? What's up, YouTube? It's Jelly. I am out on a crisp fall morning. I'm going to the bank. For those of you that have seen my Barnegat Lighthouse trip to the bank video, you know it's about an hour away. And that's just because I don't feel like switching banks. I've always been with Chase. And unfortunately, when we moved, the closest Chase bank is about 40 miles away. And I like going the long way because it's just more fun. Today, maybe not so much because it's chilly. It's cold. I don't necessarily like riding in the cold. I think 40 degrees and up. And if I sound like I'm talking squished, it's because I'm wearing a hoodie on my head, plus a balaclava. I want to say baklava so bad, but it's balaclava, which protects my neck from the cold. And wearing my AGV Sport winter jacket, which keeps my chest just nice and toasty. I was thinking about getting a heated liner for my jacket, and but my chest doesn't really get that cold. The windscreen blocks most of it, and you know, I can still feel it a little bit, but not enough where it's like, oh my god, I'm frozen. My legs are always fine. I have these Dainese, what do you call it? That stuff that stops bullets. Kevlar pants. And they have this resin coating on it which blocks the wind. So my legs aren't really that cold. Hello! Why don't you just all the way stop? What was I saying? Yeah, so they have this resin coating that you know, blocks most of the wind. And then I've got some Alpine Stars Joey riding sneakers. It's a funny word, isn't it? Sneakers. And they're pretty good. I didn't get the waterproof ones, but these are just fine. My feet don't get cold. Even though this bike has no fairings whatsoever, it's, I don't know, just comfortable. Well. Shall we do a quick mileage check? We are at, currently, I think the last time we spoke, I was at about almost 300 miles. I think I just got 300 miles. Well, now, I don't know if you can see it because I'm using my Senna tube camera. I don't know if it's lined up. 908 miles. 908. I'm out of the braking period. And couldn't be more happy. I did the oil change at 602 miles. And oil was clean. If you do have an FZ-09 and you decide to do the oil change yourself, before you do it, I'd say a good 3 months before you do your oil change, I would hit the gym and I would work on your upper body strength, because the nut that is like the oil nut, what is going on here? I don't know. Oh yeah, oil changes. I'd hit the gym, get big and bulky and muscular, because trying to get that oil drain nut off, holy crap. I ended up having to take a metal tube and putting it on my socket wrench, and then having, you know, getting extra leverage that way, because it was on there so tight. The oil filter was also torqued way the hell down, and I ended up using my never fail oil wrench that totally destroyed the oil filter, and I got it off though. I went with the K&N 204, is it 204 or 209? Whatever it is, oil filter. I put that one on instead of the Yamaha, and the reason for that was I was worried about, since I didn't have one of those like strap oil wrenches that go around the oil filter, I was worried of damaging the new oil filter. So I used the K&N, which has the nut on the front, and you can use a wrench to tie it down, or to tighten it all the way down. But leaves. Oh. Other than that, though, the oil change went well. I like the oil window. You can see the oil level through the window. So I know I put in almost 3 quarts of oil. I know it takes almost 3. So I filled it so it was at the near the top of the line through the window, and then started the bike, let the oil filter fill up, and then it was kind of scary because all the oil in the window disappeared instantly, and but then once it settled, once I shut the bike off, I just topped it off, and that was that. It was fairly easy. The oil was a little darker than I'm used to after 600-mile oil change, but there wasn't too much metal in it. I did see a couple of fragments, but it wasn't anything that was to be concerned about, you know, especially after the first oil change when you have your engine wearing in. How am I doing on shifting? Much better, right? It is windy as a mofo today. 50-mile-an-hour gusts, which one of the reasons I was kind of determined to come out this morning was because I wanted to see how this bike did in high wind, and it's doing just fine. Now, granted, I'm not on the highway. Granted, I'm going 56 miles an hour, but it's stable, just as stable as the Honda was, and you know, it should be a nice, relaxing ride. So I talked about I wanted to get a heated liner for the jacket. I still may do that depending on what gift cards come my way for Christmas from my family to Revzilla. But I got these Gerbing Hero, I believe, heated gloves. They're 12 volts, which means you plug them into your bike. I didn't want to get battery-powered gloves because that's one more thing I got to worry about, is keep making sure my gloves aren't charged. But I have the Gerbing, I think, Hero I got on Revzilla. They're off right now because I'm waiting for my hands to get cold, because these gloves heat up in 3 seconds, and it's like when your hands are cold. Picture a cold winter's night. You just came inside from shoveling snow without gloves on. Your hands are freezing, and then you dip them into a nice bowl of warm water. It feels so good. That's exactly what it feels like, because your entire hand is enveloped in a nice warmth. Oh, it's so good. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes. If you can see this thing, I don't know if I'm pointed at it, but I'll move around a little bit. This is a remote control that turns them on. It's a wireless remote. I stuck it to my windscreen with Velcro, industrial strength Velcro, and I'm going to keep it there for the winter, just so that I could reach out and grab it, or twist the knobs, as the kids say, and not have to dig it out of my pocket, because I was doing that for the first couple days, trying to dig it out of my pocket, and sometimes it just got a little too warm and I wanted to turn it down, and then I'd have to pull over and take the thing out of my pocket. So I think that's a much better idea, just to stick it, lick it and stick it. Is this a no turn on red? Do you see anything? I don't see anything. Let's go. I took the bike out for a nice night ride last night. I don't like to do that around here because of the suicidal deer that I've talked about. They're everywhere, and they're looking to kill. So I don't like doing that. That, on top of the fact that I watched a bunch of motorcycle hits deer YouTube videos, that wasn't smart, because now I'm like a crazy man looking out for these idiots. But like I said, I don't like to ride at night, not because it's weird or anything, it's just because the deer, and the only way out of my neighborhood and out of my general area is surrounded by woods and deer. So I went out, went on one of the main roads, and took a ride out there, and just to see how the headlight was at night. I didn't find it to be too bad. I read some reviews. People didn't like the headlight. They say it doesn't, you know, provide enough brightness. I found it to be quite adequate for, you know, for this bike, and you know, I saw everything just fine. And so that's that. All right, it's time. Are you ready? I'm going to go ahead and activate the Gerbing heated gloves. There we go. Turn it up all the way. Is that all the way? Oh, you know what? For some reason I have to turn on both sides, even though I'm only plugged in for one. And then it seems to go, oh, there it is. Yeah, you can instantly feel it. It's so good. One thing I thought of that I wasn't even considering, but I was looking up some statistics on the amount that motorcycles are stolen. And I never really thought about it with the Honda, because I'm like, who would want this bike? Even though a baby could ride it, because it was so just easy, especially with the automatic transmission. But people that are stealing bikes, they know how to ride bikes. So this one being a little flashier, and everyone knowing what it is. Back before, when I had the Honda, I used to say, oh, you know, they used to ask, what kind of bike do you have? Oh, a Honda NC700 XD. Oh, really? What the hell is that? But with this one, you say Yamaha FZ-09, and people are like, oh my God, that's great. You know, I love that bike, and this and that. So I don't know if people are interested in stealing it. I do use the trigger lock, or the trigger lock. I do use the key lock. You know, if you take your key and turn it all the way to the left, it'll lock the steering lock. That's even better. And I do that in parking lots when I run into a store. But I'm thinking anybody could just come up and lift it up into a truck and take off with it. I don't live in Compton. I don't live in a place where there's much crime. But you never know. You know, so I was looking at the Scorpio GPS tracker with the alarm system. It got good and bad reviews. They have a new one that's out that I guess fixes everything. You could pretty much install it in, I'd say, a good half hour, 45 minutes if you have the wiring harness. They make one for the Yamaha. So I may just get the wiring harness, put that thing in, and but I'm torn, because do I want to spend $530 total? I mean, that's with the harness and the unit. Do I want to spend $530 on something where chances are slim that this bike would take a walk in somebody's truck? And it's not even the money that I'm concerned about, because you know that's okay, but for the peace of mind. But at the same time, $530 I could spend on something else, you know, a new helmet or the heated gear or what have you. The only problem with heated gear is it's such a pain to, I don't like to keep the wire, because you have to wire it to your bike, okay? And the wire sticks out my right side, right underneath my right leg, and it's tied directly into the bike power. And you have a wire that you have to run underneath the thermal liner in your jacket. So one goes down the right arm, one down the left arm, and the remainder of the wire goes down your back and comes out, you know, right by your belt, and then you just plug it in the bike. Well, when I'm just going for a ride and it's not cold out, I don't want that wire hanging, you know, all over the place, out my sleeves and everything, so I tuck them in, but it just gets to be, you know, a pain having to put the wire in my pocket, so I end up taking it out. I know it sounds like such a frou-frou complaint, but I don't like extra wires, you know, hanging out of my clothes when I'm riding. Yeah, about 40 degrees, that's my limit. I won't go below that. I think that with the street being cold and your tires staying cold, it's probably not very safe. I remember when I did my MSF course, I did it in March, and it was like in the 20s. And I just bought this new bike, and I rode it in the freezing cold. I didn't have any good gear for winter riding. I had just bought the bike. You know, I had a winter jacket, and I had some gloves, but man, I didn't have anything like I've got now. And I didn't have anything to cover my face. It was ridiculous. And I'm out there going out to the class at like 6 in the morning, and just froze my cojones off. It was so crazy. The instructors were looking at me like, are you out of your mind? It was pretty bad. But you know, new rider, new bike. I was excited. What do you want from me? Crazy. Oh, you and your friends, these leaves, they hurt. I didn't think a leaf would hit you as hard as they do, but wow, I can't imagine not wearing a full face mask. You know, getting smacked by these leaves. It's kind of crazy. Ooh, you know, I do. Whoa, that was a bird that just, I don't know what the hell just happened, but I don't know if I hit it or what, but it flew underneath me. And it better not be trapped under there as a surprise for later. Holy shit. Stupid ass animals, I swear to God. Whoa! Oh! Wind, wind, wind! Oh! Wow. It's rough seas today. I'm working on my downshifting. Excuse me, sir, can you see my turn signal? Don't turn, don't turn, don't turn. Thank you. Now, when I'm riding in areas like this, that there's nothing for miles but woods, maybe a house here or there, I try to stick to the center line. Try to stay right along the center line. This way, if an idiot deer runs out, I'll have more room to work with. If you're way over here and somebody, you know, some deer comes from this way, you're not going to have much room. So I try to stay in the middle, just so that if he's running, I can pull behind him, and hopefully that's the way it goes, but you don't want to overcorrect and then go into the woods. The temptation to brake and swerve, I think, would be a problem, because you don't want to brake, especially when you're swerving. So I guess it's one of those situations where you just have to go through it to really understand. And then every situation is different because of how the animal's going to react. But how great is it out here? Just you and the wind and the leaves and the deer. Statistically, deer travel together. So if there's one, chances are there's more. And I read that they don't react until you get within about 60 feet of them. So they suggest hitting your horn to kind of snap them out of that deer in headlights syndrome that they seem to go through. Also, they don't typically change direction. If they're running forward, typically they will keep running forward. They're not going to stop and turn around. They'll just keep going. So the best place to aim is behind them. You want to try to get behind them because chances are they're not going to stop. If there's no way to avoid it, your best chance is to broadside it. You know, you don't want to kind of clip it because that could send you off into the woods. My biggest fear would be it coming up, popping up into my chest, because those things are heavy. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm pretty comfortable with the gloves. That was really the only area of my body that used to be a problem. No matter how good the gloves were. Guys are so nonchalant with their waves. Like, they wave, but like they don't want to be bothered. It's so hard to just move my hand. 930. I saw the time and I thought I had 1,050 miles. Like, all right, here come the cranberries. I don't like when people say cranberry. It doesn't look like they picked them. Although I wouldn't know what it looks like when they did. No, I think I saw one. What they're waiting for. Now's your time to shine. Thanksgiving is where it's at for the cranberry. I thought that was a mouse. I know you didn't see it, but it was a slow-moving leaf that was oddly large. moving slowly across the road. Now see this guy? He's just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. This is what I'm talking about, how people give me tons of space. Like, he could have went 4 times in the amount of time it took me to get to him, which I totally appreciate. And like that guy at the stop sign, he sat there for quite a while waiting for me to come. Perverts. Alright. That was awesome! I like to pass people. I don't want people to take offense for me passing them, but your car is churning freezer cold air and making it turbulent on all day. Stupid deer. Every time I see a deer on the side of the road, I curse at it in my mind. What the hell is this person doing? You gotta go ruin it! I was going so fast and smooth. Now, never trust someone that drives a Buick, because chances are they're in their 70s and they've lost their desire to be a good driver. Oh, we made it! We made it! Made it to the bank! If they close this frickin' bank, I'm gonna be so mad. I didn't check to see. It's back there. Oh no, it's still there. Whew. Okay. Foggy visor. I've got a foggy visor. Go, dick! What are you waiting for? Don't do it! Watch the ATM be broken. I'm gonna leave my headlight on so we can take a look at my stuff. If you could see, I got the fender eliminator, the Yoshimura thing there. That's my new brake light. It flickers when you... I don't know if we could see it. Flicker. Yeah, you see it? Flicker! It flickers. We got the left. Integrated turn signals. This bike, which is interesting, has one of these doodads. Hazard lights. Alright, so let's take a look at... Actually, I'll leave those on. Can you see those blinkers? Hardly, right? I'm not happy with those. They're not bright at all. You can hardly see them. I'm going to have to do something about those. So you can see this is the wire that attaches to my pants, or to the wire coming out the back of my jacket. And then I just use this to control it. Here's the wire down. I don't know if you can even see that. And then each glove gets plugged in. Like so. See that tight turn? I learned that at the MSF course. That's right. I'm going to go ahead and conclude today's motovlog adventure. Again, I appreciate all of you for spending some time with me today. And hope you're all well.